Good evening, everyone. Uproarious applause, uproarious applause. Very good, very good, very good. My name is Russ. My wife owns this place, so she lets me bring concerts in here. Who's first timer here? Welcome. That's a big gang. Welcome. What happened? We must have done. You know somebody that's performing. I heard that. Other people are on a thing called Fatsha book. Fatsha. What's it called? And that worked. Every now and then, Mark Zuckerberg lets you in on the secret. But anyways, I'm glad you're all here. We've got lots of stuff that happens here at Bez. There's all kinds of arts programming that happens. In fact, there's not a lot of arts programming in Langley, as you probably knew. And that's why we built this place, is so that you'd have a place to come and see great art and maybe come to a concert or two, or we have a gospel choir that happens here. We also have a community stage. We also do dance for adults, like classes, tap, hip hop, ballet, there it is. That's the one I was looking for. All kinds of things happen here at Bez, and we would love it if you'd get on our mailing list because every week I send out a little list of updates, who's coming, so you can stay in tune with what's happening, because it's hard to break through the clutter on the social medias, so the regular email is just for you to sort of know what's happening here at Bez. We've got a few shows coming up. This Friday, the 27th, my pal from Rwanda named Ezra Kwizera, international world music artist, is going to be here. His drummer is outstanding. His bassist is through the roof. It's going to be a great evening of world beat music by Ezra from Rwanda. Awesome songwriter and a cool, cool guy. Then next week, we've got the great Colin Linden here for 2 nights. You guys have got your tickets already, which is awesome. That is going to be a very good show. We're so pleased to have him. If you don't know who Colin Linden is, you probably know a lot of the work he's done, many different things he's been a part of. Blackie and the Rodeo Kings is, of course, his band. And he's also produced many of Bruce Coburn's records, but he also did a little show called Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Have you ever heard that? He did the music. He also did a little thing called the Nashville TV show. Did you ever watch Nashville TV series? I know, we watched every episode. We were addicted to those characters. He's just on tour with them right now. Anyways, he's a music director, he's a writer, and he's outstanding. We're flying him in here special for a couple nights here at Bez, so we've still got tickets available for March 6 and 7. I want you to be aware of that. And then his pal, Stephen Fearing, is here the next week. And Stephen is an outstanding singer-songwriter. So lots happening here. And tonight, we've got the great Jay Plank here. And we're so glad he's coming back. We just think Daniel and I are fans. We listen to his music all the time. Look at Daniel's running sound up there. He's like, yeah. So we're so thrilled that Jay's here to do some music for us. Mr. Plank, the Plank, is here. But before that, one of our favorite people who's been a supporter of the arts here and music and songwriters in the area. Let's get Ivan Boudreau on stage here. Give it up for Ivan, everybody.
Hello there. It's been a while since I've been here. Came to a couple open mics, but in the past we did a thing called Song Stage, where actually I think that's how just around that time was where I met Jeff, or Jay Plank, as you know. I have a friend that always reminds me that I can't tune and talk at the same time. All right, and I'm also at the age where I'm lyrically challenged, so I'd like to keep them in front of me in case I fall into a ditch. So we're going to do a bunch of songs here, and because the great Brian Nichols is sitting in with me, I thought I'd bring quite a bit of more of my country-flavored songs that I've written over the years and some that are new, so hope you like them. This one's called Love Has Arrived. Whoops, I'm in the wrong, see? Good thing. Ready? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sun is up, mighty fine weather, it's a little brisk, might need a sweater, Either way, I'm feeling better. Love has arrived. Used to walk, Mr. Lonely, had no girl. A one and only, sell my soul so she could own me. Love has arrived. When life turned a corner, that fateful day, I just could not ignore her, couldn't let her walk away. Down the street, I hear she's waiting, can't skip a beat. No hesitating, she holds my heart, no escaping. Love has arrived. Yeah, right. Never gave up hoping it was meant to be. She's my winning ticket in the love lottery. Holding hands out on the sidewalk, the night is young. Let's stroll a few blocks, the two of us will laugh and we'll talk. Love has arrived. The two of us will laugh and we'll talk. Love has arrived. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, because Jeff, as I'll call him, under Jay Plank, Jeff plays a lot in Texas. Well, I have a song here that I've been known from my friend who wrote it, from Austin. He's actually originally from Lubbock, Texas, Roger Edmondson. And when I did my first trip to Austin in 2014 at the Austin Songwriters Symposium, and Roger played this at a function. And by the end of the first time hearing it, I was singing along by the end, and it's a great song about basically about a man's life in that part of the world. Roger did a lot of traveling in that part of Texas, West Texas, and this song ended up coming out. And he calls me the ambassador for this song, The Rusty Things. So hope you like it. The hinges on the barn door rusted shut, used to open wide for my pickup truck. The letters on the mailbox don't hang straight, hasn't seen a postman since '98. And the grass grows past the fenders on the Massey Ferguson. That bright red cowling turned pink by the sun. Rusty things down a dusty road. Some broke down, some just old rusty things that can't be sold. Filled memories that can't be told. Trees that line the road all died out, couldn't take the heat or the damned old drought. Crops were thin, jobs were scarce, and I wasn't the college type, so I enlisted in the army, left to join the fight. By the time I returned, the bank had called the loan. Dad was in the grave, Mom was in the home. rusty things down a dusty road. Some broke down, some just old rusty things that can't be sold, filled with memories that won't be told. So we moved to town and went to work in a factory. Punched the clock for 20 years, 6 days a week. But then the foreman said he's sorry, they had to let us go. They moved all the jobs down to Mexico. And everybody said they'll come back someday, but I think it's more likely that we'll all rust away. Rusty things down a dusty road. Some broke down, some just old rusty things that can't be sold, filled with memories that won't be told. Well, now I've done the odd job, been a crossing guard, helped out at the church, mowed the widow's yard. So now I'm pushing 80, and it's pushing back on me. But it hasn't pushed me down yet, it brought me to my knees. When I reach the end of my usefulness, don't leave me out to rust, just lay me down to rest. Rusty things down a dusty road. Some broke down, some just old rusty things that can't be sold, filled with memories that won't be told. Rusty things down a dusty road. Thank you. Thank you so much. Roger Edmondson is a wonderful. I'm doing a song we co-wrote a little bit later, but he was in marketing and promo for radio. He's a wonderful songwriter, historian of that area. Get lubricated up here. There's a version of that song by some friends of mine in Montecito or Santa Barbara called the Elderberries. They do a ukulele kind of a thing, and they did a wonderful version of that one and another one of my songs. Songs have a way of traveling around the world. This one is a country tune that I wrote with two ladies, Lucy LeBlanc and Joanne Stacy, years ago. And on another trip to Austin, it got taken by a publisher from Nashville, but it's been sitting in there for years, so I don't know if anybody is ever going to record it. It's a little too traditional. But I know anybody that's done traveling for a business, or if you're a musician or a traveling salesman or whatever, if you're away from home. So it's basically, I always thought Willie Nelson would do a great job on this one, but it's called Till I Get Back to You. When my heart is aching, beating to a shade of blue, nothing wrong about taking a little drink or two. If it helps to ease my loneliness, numb the pain and get me through, it's just a temporary substitute till I get back to you. The clock is moving slowly in this run-down motel room. In my sad hands I'm holding my favorite picture of you, 'cause it helps to ease my loneliness, numb the pain and gets me through. It's just a temporary substitute till I get back to you. Mr. Nickel. Wishing I was there wrapped up in your arms, wishing there was something I could do, holding my kisses, saving my charms till I get back to you. Now the bottle's empty and I should be fast asleep, but my miss you mind won't let me, so I lay here counting sheep, 'cause it helps to ease my loneliness, numb the pain and get me through. It's just a temporary substitute till I get back to you. 'Cause it helps to ease my loneliness, numb the pain and get me through. It's just a temporary substitute till I get back to you, till I get back to you. Thank you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, this one, Brian and I have a friend that passed away a few years ago that Brian's known for 40 years. I only knew him for maybe 13, 14. And Rick Leather, if you're local, you might remember him. Wonderful musician, wonderful songwriter, and he and I used to do some co-writing because we both love country music. I'm originally from Nova Scotia, and when I was wee, that's all we listened to. Mom and Dad, Buck Owens, Patsy Cline, Jim Reeves, Eddie Arnold, Hank Williams. I got to see Buck Owens and the Buckaroos when I was 12 years old, but I didn't appreciate it. I was a 12-year-old brat, and Mom and Dad's music. But man, I wish I could go back to that time and see them again. But I brought this idea to Rick because about 9 years ago or so, I changed some bad habits in my lifestyle, you might say. So, and before that happened, I just woke up and I didn't want to change that day, and I had this idea. Songwriters always, we think about phrases and it could be a title or it could be a theme, and you'll get the idea. I just kept saying, I don't feel like stopping today. And that was what Rick and I started with, and this is what we ended up with, a song called Don't Feel Like Stopping Today. And it actually is sitting in a publishing house somewhere, but when Rick passed away, unfortunately, I guess it was about 6 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, a lot of the information of the publisher that paid for Nashville demos for about 10 of his songs, including this co-write of mine, they're kind of lost. His son who took over, Rick, had deleted a lot of the emails or they weren't available. So we don't really know. I've searched out a couple through my contacts. But anyway, if you hear this song on the radio at JR Country one of these days, it won't be me. It'll be somebody else. But this would be the way that I'd record it, and I hope you like it. It's called I Don't Feel Like Stopping Today. Half-empty bottle, can't fill the heart, can't drown these excuses, keep me falling apart. I know a man can't go on living this way, but I don't feel like stopping today. My pride's got me choking on words left unsaid, promises broken, turn to regrets. But the whiskey don't ask if that girl's gonna stay, so I don't feel like stopping today. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, I'll let go of the bottle and her memory. Maybe I'll stop when the last teardrop falls. But right now there's no reason for stopping at all. I look in the mirror and I don't see my face. I know I'm there somewhere, sober and straight, but a couple more drinks, I won't care either way. And I don't feel like stopping today. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, I'll let go of the bottle and her memory. Maybe I'll stop when the last teardrop falls. But right now there's no reason for stopping at all. Empty bottle, empty heart, no room for excuses, still falling apart. If I could stop thinking about her, stop all this pain, but I don't feel like stopping today. No, I don't feel like stopping today. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. And I want to thank Jeff for having me here, and Russ and Sandy for always having a great spot. If this is your first time here at the Bez, it is the place in the Fraser Valley. You really need to get yourself on the list. There's so much great entertainment. It's been coming here for years. And just love it here. They have a great sense of community. If you're a writer, singer, or like to do covers, Thursday night, community open mic. Open to everybody. Is it me or is it just dry here? I've been called worse. We were talking about hot flashes, but I don't know if I'm getting that, Anyway, this is, during COVID, it was well, really hard on a lot of us, but there was a benefit for me. Roger, who I mentioned that wrote Rusty Things, started a song circle. Every Monday night we would meet on Zoom, and through that several years, basically, of us in that kind of shutdown, I got to meet so many great friends of his that are now friends of mine, including this fella here that I co-wrote this next one with, Doug Gill. Is a Nashville hit writer. He wrote a lot of songs for Don Williams. And his partner, Lynn Langham, they were our regular guests on it. And Lynn actually won a Grammy Award for an Emmylou Harris song. So they're sweet people. I've never met them in the same room, but we're still in contact. We still do a lot of things together. And I threw this idea at Doug, and he loved it. And it was, at the time, I mean, for songwriters, love, good, new love, heartbreak. I mean, it's fodder for lots of songs. I mean, so this one, at the time, I was in a different place, but you'll get the idea. It's called How Do I Know? One, two, you're gonna bring it in, right? No, okay. Yeah, one, two. How do I know we belong together, set in stone by some natural law? For so long we've both been so lonely. First the freeze, then the thaw. How do I know to trust these feelings when history shows it's risky after all? It just seems we were bound to happen, just like summer turns to fall. They say all things happen for a reason. In a strange way, loser when it comes down to believing. How do I know hearts can mend, and it's not time to give up on love? Never say never, it's gonna get better. Dreams come true if you dream them hard enough. They say all things happen for a reason. In a strange way, loser when it comes down to believing. How do I know my luck's finally changing? In my wildest dreams, loving hands to hold. Grateful and blessed, I swear she's the best. Shines like gold, that's how I know. Shines like gold, that's how I know. Thank you. All right, time for a couple more here. Here's one. This next song here was, it was really close to being cut by the Mavericks, It was in their office for several years, and it looked really good. There's a songwriter from Bruce Maydall from Ontario that I co-wrote this with years ago, about 10 years ago. And it got close, and then it just never happened. It's just the songwriter's lament. But unfortunately, when Raul Malo passed away recently to throat cancer, I have this track, and I'm going to try to resurrect it and release it myself. Brian's played on the original recording, the demo, and we'll just get it spiffed up a little bit and stuff. But it's a Tex-Mex tune. It's also related to love. It's all the things that you really don't know when these things are happening, so you'll catch it. But it's got that Mavericks kind of vibe. So. One, two, three, four. What happens to a lullaby when sleep won't come? What happens to a sweet love song when love's moved on? The breeze is rich with sweet wildflowers, sweeten someone else's hours. Where's the comfort for a broken heart? I really don't know. What happens when you hold the key, can't find the door? What happens when you're lost at sea, can't reach the shore? When every step you take feels wrong, the journey home takes far too long. What happens when love lets go? I really don't know. I really don't know how hard my man. I really don't know how to start again. Will the sun come up? Where did love go? The heartaches ever end. I really don't know. What happens to a lonely heart that hears love call? What happens to the desert sand when sweet rains fall? The night birds sing a new love song, the falling stars burn bright till dawn. What happens with a true, true love? I really don't know. Really don't know how hard my man. I really don't know how to start again. Will the sun come up? Where did love go? The heartaches ever end. I really don't know. I really don't know how hard my man. I really don't know how to start again. The sun come up. Where did love go? The heartaches ever end. I really don't know. The heartaches ever end. I really don't know. Heartaches ever end. I really don't know. Thank you. All right. Well, we've got one more here, and I want to thank Jeff again, and we'll have a little bit of a break after, and you'll be just astonished with the guitar playing and the songs that this gentleman plays. He's definitely gonna blow your minds. Anyway, this is a song that I co-wrote with Roger Edmondson from that Rusty Thing song not that long ago, and yeah, it's just about getting through heartache, and then things open up, from the cloudy days to bright blue skies, so life goes on. You ready? Heartaches, tears will dry. The sun's gonna rise on a west coast sky. Ain't gonna waste the sunshine walking with a worried mind. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Sometimes you just miss your train. Cards played, chances taken, brave hearts win fair maidens. Love can fix a heart that's breaking, take you to a world that's waiting, bring peace to life that's changing the darkest nights to blue sky days. Take the hit, swallow my pride, bury that pain deep inside. Make the best of the broken parts, come back with a stronger heart. I'll cry about it, write about it, maybe even laugh about it. Forget where I've been, move along, love again. Love can fix a heart that's breaking, take you to a world that's waiting, bring peace to life that's changing the darkest nights to blue sky days. Sometimes sixes, sometimes seven, sometimes hell, others heaven. Roll the dice, take your chances on love and romances. 'Cause love can fix a heart that's breaking, take you to a world that's waiting, bring peace to life that's changing the darkest nights to blue sky day. Blue sky day. Something like that. Thanks for listening. And thank you so much, Brian Nickel. And Jeff will be back in a few moments, so get your refreshment.
Hey. How we doing? Everybody good? Give it up for Ivan Boudreau, wow, and Brian Nickel. Those are some fantastic songs. And I want to go dig through some of the archives in all those different people's basements where those songs are hiding, because they need to be out in the world, don't they? I think they really do. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a great treat for you. Jay Plank has been here a couple times before. First time with Ivan, brought him here for our song stage, songwriter night, and then he came and did a concert here a couple years ago, and we are overjoyed to welcome him back to the stage. Give it up for Jay Plank.
Very excited and happy to close the show for Ivan Boudreau. He could have been just a little less stellar. That would have been nice if these guys came out. I mean, there's a thing I remember from Texas. It's called taking a dive. Be a good thing to do once in a while, but I digress. Thanks everybody for being here. I always wanted to write a song about a suitcase. I like suitcases. I'm talking about old ones, you know, like Sans wheels. You know, they always have like a story to tell, an old suitcase. Somebody's coming, you see one in the corner. Somebody's going, or in my case, kind of like a snake oil salesman's in town, or I don't normally start with this song, but I kind of feel like it tonight, so. Oh, well, the world keeps turning around. I have no place to call my own, so I keep on moving across this gravel ground, work my feet and fingers to the bone. I may be weary and wide, or hungry and tired, nothing left of me but dust and sand. All I need on this ride to accompany me is the suitcase in my hand. You know the shell is worn and weathered, mama, and it smells of cheap wine and good weed. Scratches and scuffs on the leather tale of trauma of my calling bound to succeed. I keep a picture in a frame of a clear blue sky, a Marine band harp, and I'll be damned if the glories and the crumbs that I do not dare now live in the suitcase in my hand. Oh. Well, there's some treasures and trinkets I keep locked inside, with a notebook and a Mont Blanc pen. So my travels are inked and thus provide vine, the root to hit the hard road again. I keep you closer and closer every country mile. I'm gonna bring you back a shiny gold band. A diamond in the doorway with the Cheshire smile and the suitcase in my hand. A diamond in the doorway with the Cheshire smile and the suitcase in my hand. Here's another kind of road song. People write road songs all the time, you know. Oh, the road is so hard, you know. And it is. Any good job is hard sometimes, you know. But I kind of pound for pound like it a lot, you know. I got married about 13 years ago, you know, and live in Campbell River, and yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more, too. I kind of like being home now, too, you know? I kind of like being home, too. But usually I get home for about 3 weeks, and I gotta stop this thing. It's acting weird. The little man in the box is not clicking with the shoes on the floor. Yeah, it's not your fault. It's okay. Here we go. Let me try again. Got your little woo. But now I go away for about 3 weeks, come home, and usually within about a week or two, my wife is like, "When are you going on the road again, honey?" So this whole song is taking on a new, different meaning. Well, I've been driving, I've been riding, I've been beating the pavement, Oakland and New Orleans. I've been biting, I've been hiding the nails off my fingers, and I'm trying to figure out, Lord, what it means. But the road's been good to me, Lord, you know I can't complain. Yes, the road is all I know. Without it, I would not be the same. But as I roll on down, I'm flying and defying, and my heart, oh, it stays the same. If I don't get home before the sun, well, that'd be a crying shame. Well, it's hard, and it's a pity when you get what you ask, and it wasn't what you wanted all along. And you wake up and you shake up and you come to find you've been going about it all wrong. But the road's been good to me. Lord, it's been my teacher and my friend. Yes, I know it's been good to me. But right now I want to see you again. But it's a long, long way from TX to BC, and I'm counting every single mile. I'm gonna get back to you. We're gonna do the things we do. Can't wait to see you smile. Homecoming, yeah, I'm homecoming. Whoa, I'm coming home. I'm homecoming. I miss my sweet one waiting, still anticipating the day I'll return. When I let down my boots right next to my roots, Lord, I've been feeling the burn. Homecoming, yeah, homecoming. Oh, I'm coming home. I'm homecoming, but the road's been good to me, and I'm getting on home. Yes, I know it's been good to me. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah. I love being on the road. Yeah, so I married a gal from Campbell River about 13 years ago. She moved down to Texas to marry me from Campbell River. That's love. I'll tell you what. And I'll say this too, you know, it's like the first year we came up in the summer for about a month to visit family, and I said, okay, I'll just go up and I'll just write a little bit, take a break. Nobody usually gets a month off from work, so it was a bit of a luxury for me. And then 1 month the next year turned to 3 months. 3 months turned to 5. Eventually, we're walking along the Quinsam River one day, and it's about October. We haven't gone back to Texas yet. And all these people are kind of being like, they're going, kind of whispering. We see people kind of walking down the path whispering. It's a really beautiful area. Even the kids are being kind of quiet. These kids who were fishing, who were yelling and being silly and playing, everybody's quiet. So what's going on? This lady with a camera goes, oh, there's a bear across the river, you know? Just across the river. And I was like, cool. So we sat down on the bank and we sat there and we were watching this bear kind of just walk down and do a little fishing. And I remember thinking, yeah, even the kids are being quiet right now. It's really nice. People really appreciate where they live. And I looked at my wife and I said, what are we leaving for? And she was like, because we were about to go back to Texas. And it's, don't get me wrong, Texas also had been really good to me as becoming a songwriter, and for 16 years, I was a side person to a lot of people that I'm sure I'll name drop later. Well, you know, because anytime anybody name drops, they're just trying to make themselves appear one rung higher on the entertainment ladder, leaned against the wall of illusion and broken dreams. In fact, I was talking about that with Ruthie Foster the other day, and she agrees that it's a disgusting habit, But I will say, so my wife's like, well, what about Austin, you know, and the music scene and your career and all that? And I'm like, I'm on the road all the time. I started this illustrious solo career that you see now at the ripe age of 43. And I'm 52 now, and I'm pretty lucky. This is all I do for a living. I go around, I play my songs and the songs of my friends, and it is a charmed life. And I feel very lucky. I feel very lucky. So that's when we made the decision about 5 years ago, 6 now, before all the lockdowns we came up. That's another great story, but I'll save it. And, man, we just made it in time. But about, I guess now 2.5 years ago, I got my permanent residence, so. Very happy, very happy, very happy. What's that? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I do feel, yeah, well, you know, as far as the A is concerned, I remember in Texas, my wife moves down and she goes, okay, honey, just tell me every time I say A. And I looked at her and I was like, oh, honey. She goes, really? Did I say it that much? And I was like, yeah, it's endearing. You know, people down here think it's nice. They love it when you say A, you know. It's like I've been told also that scientifically, the fact that you guys say A at the end of a sentence is that you're like saying to somebody, you're bringing them into the conversation, you know, A. And I was like, oh, that's the most lovely thing ever. I love that. That's so cool, you know. It's like when you say A, It's kind of like, well, what do you have to say about that instead of the way we Americans do it? But we have plenty to learn from you in that respect. But I digress. What was I talking about? So anyway, we get to Campbell River and, the A thing. If I could get my wife to say y'all and A in the same sentence, I believe that we would not have the troubles that we are having with our two countries. It would never happen, you know? We'd be right there like we're supposed to be, you know? But we don't need to get into that either. I think we're probably all like-minded about that silliness. Elbows up. So that's what I take. I told this great story backstage to Ivan and to Brian about how right after the Cheeto guy did the tariff thing, right after he did the tariff thing, he like the next day my wife was coming back and she saw this old couple coming out of London Drugs, and the gentleman was there and he had his receipt and he was looking hard at this receipt and he goes, "Oh man." And the wife said, "Oh, what's wrong, honey?" And he goes, "This one says made in the U.S." And she goes, "It's okay, we're trying." And I was like, that was like the first day, you know, after that dumb thing. Anyway. Okay, so anyway, I didn't think the show was going to get away from me this early. But here we are, and I like to, and don't worry, these are the exact same things I say at my shows down south, because I'm more about bringing people together than I am about tearing them apart, and we got enough division as it is. I like to talk about things that you can't argue about, go for the food bank and give to families that need it, and talk about, civil rights and the things and due process and all those important things. So I go to the Netherlands about a year ago to record a blues and soul album with this really, really great band called the Southern Aces. And I love it. They're called the Southern Aces because they're from the south of the Netherlands. Isn't that great? So they'd recorded some soul albums with a friend of mine named Malford Milligan out of Austin, and I was like, he doesn't go over to the Netherlands as much, so I kind of waited for my time, and I said, "Hey, when are we going to make a record?" "Oh, you want to make a record?" "Yes, I'd love to." So I go over there, and I make a record with these guys, and I'm trying to learn as much Dutch as I can, as much as you can learn on Duolingo, I'm coming over there, and they're pleasantly surprised, but they say, "Why are you learning Dutch? We all speak English." I said, "Man, I'm in somebody else's country. I just want to learn a little bit." And when I was a kid, I used to sing in church and do like opera stuff. I was a boy soprano, so I sang in languages all the time. And so I do well with pronunciation. They said, "We've been talking. We've decided that if we heard you on a voice memo, we would think you were Dutch." And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool, thanks, We want to teach you some colloquialisms." It's like, all right, so teach me some colloquialisms. So they teach me that when they're saying goodbye in the south of the Netherlands, they go, "Howdo." And I was like, well, that's suspiciously like howdy. That's going to be easy for me to remember. So I was like, okay, you say hello, you say howdy, you say goodbye, you say howdo. I was like, that's pretty cool. So fast forward, I promise this story's going somewhere. Bear with me. Fast forward, I go to Haarlem, which is about an hour outside of Amsterdam, and I have a meeting with a record company guy for an indie label that wants to put out my record when I come back to Europe. And I'm like, I love this label, it's great, so I'm feeling good. Guy listens to the stuff, he knows all the players. He's like, we would like to do your record when you come back. I feel like I nailed the interview and the hang, and he likes the music. So as I'm leaving, I'm like, I'm gonna give him a little bit, and kind of show him. So I said, thank you so much for this opportunity, it's really great, and how do? And he goes, oh, you must be from the South. I was like, yeah, I am. But I got all these songs that I can't put out right now because labels and distribution and all these silly things that you don't even want to hear about that are the weird part about music. And I've had this album in the can for a while. but I don't really have solo versions of these band songs totally polished yet. But you guys are making me feel right at home, so I think I'm going to try this one right now. My wife's a gardener and an arborist and a horticulturalist, and she has a love of nature I never had growing up in a steel town in Ohio. So it creeps into my writing sometimes, and this is one that it crept into. It kind of leans a little bit more to the soul stuff. I get up early in the morning to cultivate and sow the seeds. I volunteered, cut with no warning, entangled in your stubborn weeds. When you up and left me, how was I to know that all those tears that felt like rain would make my new garden grow? I used to search for rays from the midday sun, but broken hearts are seldom mended. Daybreak has finally come to brighten when darkness descended. Oh, when you up and left me, how was I to know that all those tears that felt like rain would make my new garden grow? I had to dig myself right out of the ground. Why did I ever even lay one root down? Oh, when you up and left me, how was I to know that all those tears that felt like rain would make my new garden grow? You know, sometimes sadness hardens, it'll turn you into stone. But all those tears, you know, they fell like rain, would make my new garden grow. Make my new garden grow. Yeah. There was a little moment in the solo there, you know. It's that touch of unprofessionalism that I'm told makes me so lovable. I could be wrong about that. So this, if you're following along, this is an Oahu. It's an old Hawaiian guitar, and a lot of people get it confused with the dobro. The dobro is the one that's got the hubcap in it. A lot of people play that in bluegrass and stuff. But when I play my main shows, they're kind of, I just got back from Texas. I played a bunch of festivals and had a big band behind me. I don't really talk about my songs. We just kind of go for it. And I found this in Seattle, and I find that these, because I designed this weird guitar, and they named it after me and stuff and all that jazz. And It's sort of a dobro, it's sort of a lap steel, it's sort of an electric guitar, it's not really any of them. And this isn't a humble brag, this is actually a brag. But I wasn't, aware until I got a 2018 Austin Music Award for Best Miscellaneous Instrument. And I was like, okay, well, that's really cool. It sounds kind of like a dubious honor, right? But then I looked down the list of the people who had got it, and like, guy from the Fabulous Thunderbirds got it for harmonica, and this other guy got it for this and that. Mambo John Trainer, who was a washboard player. I was like, actually, it's a pretty big honor. Enough people in Austin knew what my electric guitar was that they had written in the plank. And I was like, that was humbling and like kind of blew me away that there was enough people in town who knew what my weird guitar was. And then I sold some to some other people, and they started playing them, and they send me pictures there in stadiums playing in front of people. They're playing their plank guitar. But I found these Oahu's, they're really good for what I call the singer-songwriter sets. Thanks, that's mine. Because, people pay $20, $30 to come see you, and then you just get up on stage and you whine about your problems, And I had gotten my life together, and I'd gotten married, and I'd moved up here, and everything was going good. I was tired of doing the whiny thing, And so first I started co-writing, and then I was just whining about somebody else's problems. That didn't work. But eventually I started writing more uplifting stuff, and these guitars kind of helped with that, And I like to tell people, because they're from the 40s, they have a square neck. You can't play them like a regular guitar. And they used to sell these door to door. Like a guy would come to your door with a guitar like this, and they'd get like a book of songs like, Aloha, Oi, and things like that. And they'd sell one of these, and they'd sell it with a book and one free lesson, And I like to tell people, because it's true, that these are fine, high quality. I bought one, and I keep it here, and I bought another one, and I keep it in Texas, so I have a guitar arsenal in both places. And that's also mine, thank you. I'm glad you like that one. And I like to tell people, because they're fine, high quality instruments from the 40s, Hawaiian guitars, made in Cleveland. Why, but they made them in Cleveland. Yeah, it works, right? It's doing the job. So, I'm going to move this here for now. I digress. I'm going to move to something else. Anybody here ever hear of a sync agent? You guys know what a sync agent is? No. Some people do. If you're a musician or a songwriter, you might know. You get your little solo career going like I did. What you really want is a sync agent, because they pitch your music to movies and television and commercials, and hopefully you can get the last vestiges of good money that comes from music besides live performance. And also, if you've never been to one of my shows, I have the softest t-shirts you'll ever touch. You go back there and you give it a little... You'll be like, oh yeah, now trust me, it's on the display. You go check it out. Anyway, what happens is now the person will send me stuff and say, hey, we need songs like A, B, or C, and I'm then going through all my back material of music from the years trying to find the song that fits the paper towel commercial. Or like one time he wrote me and I was on the road. I always keep a good microphone on the road with me. I'm on many albums that that people don't know I recorded in the Motel 6, because you can do that now with a good microphone and a computer. I've been on a lot of albums from motels. So I'm in my motel. He says, hey, we need a Ford truck song. So I'm in my Motel 6 with a microphone trying to write a song. I'm kind of like, time to get tough, trying to write a Ford truck song. I didn't get it, but. One time he writes me and he says, we need songs about hope. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Nobody's ever asked me to write a song about hope before. I've never sat down and wrote a song about anything like that. That sounds like a cool, noble purpose, a good challenge, I'm going to write a song about hope. That's exactly up my alley. You can't argue. Everybody needs hope sometimes. And so I started writing this song, and I really liked it, and I was down on the Gulf Coast where I do some recording, the Gulf Coast of Mexico, which is where I was. I don't know where anybody else was, but I was on the Gulf Coast of Mexico. I'm not a political guy. I don't like any of them. I don't like any of them, but I really don't. I think that's some 10-year-old stuff right there. But anyway, I'm on the Gulf Coast of Mexico, and I'm writing, and he says, we need songs of hope. So I started writing. By the time I got out that weekend, I had like 16 songs, and so I put out all these on an album over there called The Bend, because I was on the coastal bend where I recorded. And but the Hope one I really liked a lot. It was the first one where I thought, this should go on an album. I like this song. So I said, I better call him and see what this is for. And so I called him up and I said, hey man, I'm about 2/3 through this song and I really dig it. Like, I think you're gonna like my Hope song. And I said, what's it for? And he goes, oh man, we got a ton of zombie movies right now. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, you know, you're at the end of the zombie movie and you're getting chased, you know, and they're chasing after you, and they're like, oh man, you're just about to get away, you know, and oh, we gotta have hope. And then I said, shit. But I had already written the song and I really liked it. So the first song on my little solo acoustic album that came out recently is right over there. It's called Into the Dawn. The darkest hour bows to morning light, and once again you've made it through the night. What's left to face, and will it lead to grace? Out of the dark into the dawn. Quiet voice proclaims the time is now, and yet you rose again with furrowed brow. Though the winds may blow through hills so high and valleys low, out of the dark into the dawn, out of the dark into the dawn. Storms ahead, then lightning tears the sky, but suns will always rise to clear the clouds from your eyes. Out of the dark into the dawn. Past is carved in lines upon your face. They guide you with a strength you now embrace. So you make your move with nothing left to prove. Out of the dark into the dawn. Out of the dark into the dawn. Who knows? That might be in your next Pedro Pascal zombie TV show. You don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I was saying that to a crowd the other day, and you know, sometimes people be like, I don't think that's a zombie song, you know. And then other people like, oh yeah, no, it could be for the chase scene. Just think of it real slow. I was like, okay, I like the way you think. Tens of dollars to be made in the music business these days, people. I'm so lucky I get to do this for a living. I never wanted a Jaguar in my driveway, so it's fine. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. Here's a song about a house I used to live in, and boy, am I glad I don't live there anymore. Well, the floorboard's creaking, I think it's gonna give, and the tin roof's leaking, but it's where I have to live. The pipes, they are bursting and belching from the tongue, and it seems that the worst thing is yet to come. But in all of my hatred and despise for this place, you know I'd rather be in here than out in the rat race. This world is too big for me, I am too small, afraid of my shadow. I only crawl into the cellar that stinks of rotten mold. You know it's dark, dim, and dingy, and a sight to behold. Well, the window's broken, so everyone can see the mess that is me. I had a stranger knock upon my own front door. When they reached for the handle, well, it fell down to the floor, and I tried to hide my embarrassment and shame, but it's falling apart, and there's no one left to blame. Some things I think time will never erase. The cold smell of fear in your stone horror face. As you fell through the wall, I knew it was there, and you decided you would never be coming back again. And you know I don't need company, I'd rather be alone. The lines have been down for years, why bother with a phone? Well, the curtains are torn, so everyone can see the mess that is me, yeah. I could take one step away from what I call home, but I was never born to ramble. I never wanted to roam, and I never get letters or check my mail. And the portraits have fallen from rusted nails, and I'm reminded of advice an old friend had to give. He said, if you don't take care of home, where the hell you gonna live? Well, the window's broken, so everyone can see the mess that is me. The mess that is me. Yeah. So the last full band record that I made, which is a little over a year ago, was also produced by Colin Linden. So, you know. Ooh, yeah, he's good. Whatever. But I love having it back there, and I'm really proud of that album, too. I don't always do well with producers. I've had some bad experiences. Sometimes producers say stuff, and I'm like, how could that come out of your mouth, man? I'm not talking about Colin, per se. I'm talking about overall producers. They surprise me a lot. But I used to produce when I was a side person because I had a lot more time on my hands. And one time this gal came to me and she sounded like a young Bonnie Raitt. And I was like, I am very excited to produce your record. If you don't know, producer of a record is like director of a movie. It's like the artist, and then the producer, and then everybody else, okay? The problem is that sometimes they get a little bit confused about which one is, yeah. So this gal comes and she gets in touch with me, and all I want to do is just make a great record for her. We went in, we made a record. I was really proud of it. I was ready to show it to anybody, you know. And that's what you want. You want your record to be like, I don't care what track they listen to, I want to just be like, I want you to hear this, you know. Easier said than done. But I loved this record. I was super proud of her, and she really loved it too. She calls me 3 weeks after the album comes out, and she goes, Plank, we're #1. And I was like, oh, cool. Now, I tempered my, elation, because I know there's a lot of charts out there. There's roots rock charts, and there's blues charts, and there's Americana charts, and all sorts of things, So I said, oh, that's great. What are we charting on? And she goes, she mentioned a type of music I had never heard of before. And she says, we're #1 on the trop rock charts. And I said, okay, what? She could hear it in my voice. I was trying to be, because I want to be encouraging. And she's like, like Parrot Heads, and like Jimmy Buffett fans, and like No Shirt, No Shoes, No whatever, beach songs. And I was like, oh, trop, like tropical. I'd heard of yacht rock, but I'd never heard of trop rock. And so I was like, now I am not snooty. If you can make your living at music, I don't care if you play in an oompa band. I don't care if you play in a cover band. I don't care what you do. It's hard to make your living in music, and so I encourage anybody who's in it to do what you got to do. I'm not snooty, man. If it makes people happy, too. A lot of people love that stuff. Doesn't mean you're going to see me with a coconut bra anytime soon, but I'm not above that either. I would do it. I'm not saying it like, I got to work that into the story a little better. So, I'm telling my friends about it, and that she's getting all these gigs down in like the Florida Keys, and the region that we affectionately call the Floribama region, and it's true. And she's getting these gigs in the Bahamas, and she's getting all these gigs like opening up for giant Jimmy Buffett cover bands, people who used to be in his band, and I'm so proud of her. And I'm telling these buddies of mine in the studio, we're working on another record, and they're like, Plank, you need to write a trop rock song. I was like, no, man. I was like, that'd be kind of like being a little bit of a poser, I don't think I would do that. And then one of them goes, don't you want a gig in Fiji? I was like, well, maybe I do want to have a little trop rock song. So I gave it a shot. And this may or may not be the audience participation part of the evening. And judging that by that response, probably not. But I imagine we have some singers here who want to sing along. And I never knew I was going to be a sing-along guy, but, sometimes it just happens. So here's my attempt to write a trop rock song. They never come out the way you think they're going to come out. I mean, see, I could have just started Margaritaville. In the opening prelude to creation, in the dawn of your birth, you take a pretty good shot to be a flower or a gem on this earth. Then you're standing in the sand, about to kick off your weekday blues. You can keep up appearance, but you'll only love what you can lose. I see your gears are turning, and I know that you're up to no good. Come down from your life-gone throne and being misunderstood. The emotion of the ocean is so easy to confuse. Don't drink what you're swimming in, you only love what you can lose. All right, I'll do it the first time. You ready? La, 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 la. You know what? I'll do it the second time, too. La, 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 la. Okay, now just keep that in your head for a little while. Possession is 9/10 of nothing but a hill of beans. Sail a great 7 seas and you still won't know what that means. If you can't see fit to flip your flops in someone else's shoes, it's unlikely you find out you'll only love what you can lose. Here's an impromptu guitar solo. Chance, all right? La, 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 la. Don't let Mission get you, people. La, 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 la. You're almost there. I can almost feel you. La, 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 la. And then you hold it with me. La, la, la. Tomorrow is a new day, you'll be trying out your brand new hat. You never stay too long, but there ain't nothing wrong with that. I've been on the level forever, but these waves, they aren't breaking loose. If there's a moral to the story, it's you only love what you can lose. Don't drink what you're swimming in, you only love what you can lose. Now I'll be playing this song in like Bozeman, Montana, or Lubbock, Texas, where they say you can stand on a tuna can and see the Pacific. It's kind of true. And I'm thinking, man, is this going over all right? Are people digging it? Are they seeing it with me? Because I don't want the song to end, because in my mind, I'm still there on that beach, you know? And I still got the breeze, and I'm listening to the waves, and the sand is in my toes. Way off in the distance from where I am, I can hear this shitty bar band. And they're trying their best. Nothing's gonna get me down, man. I don't mind. I'm listening to them, you know, and they're trying so hard. And they're like, Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama. My trop rock song. That's on the album too. Why not? So yeah, I don't know. I mean, whatever. I gave it a shot. It's kind of fun to sing. I just got back from Hawaii, and so it's I played 4 gigs on the Big Island, and I played 1 gig on Kauai, and next year we're already plans to go back. So it's kind of fun doing that one there, and it was really fun. So again, with the producers thing, okay, imagine this. So a producer is supposed to, they're supposed to help you choose what albums that fit on an album together. You know how you buy an album and you're like, all these songs really fit together? A lot of times that's the producer. That's the person who kind of helps you pick which ones fit. So I had sent a producer of one of my records a while back, a bunch of songs, like 30 songs. Some co-writes, some I'd written. That's okay. It's all right, it happens. Like 30 songs, and so, you know, we were picking songs, and I was like, oh, these are cool, man, these make sense, I get what you're going for, And then I had this song called Something Wicked, and you know, it's very hard to write a song that doesn't already have the title out there. Like, there's a very famous Hold On by Tom Waits. There's also the very first big hit for the Alabama Shakes was called Hold On. There's a million Hold Ons. I got a song called Sleeping Dogs. There's a ton of Sleeping Dogs. You just put your own thing on it. So I had my Something Wicked song, you know, and I didn't think twice about it. So the producer says to me, you know, I like your Something Wicked song, you know, but I just did an album with Lucinda Williams. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, and she has this song. It's called Something Wicked This Way Comes, you know. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you know, I just think it's a little too soon. And so I was like, no, that's cool, man. I got a ton of songs. Like, no big deal. So I didn't think anything of it. And then like 2 weeks later, we're on the phone. He's like, yeah, you know your song Something Wicked? And I thought, oh, maybe he changed his mind. He's like, I just made an album with Lucinda Williams. And I'm like, oh, God. Why are you doing this, dude? Like, I know you're cool. That's why I hired you. You know? Like, I know that you're a great, you know, whatever. And he's like, yeah, it's just a little too soon. I said, oh, yeah, man, I told you. I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm not worried about it. So I get to Nash Vegas, and I'm in the booth, and I'm working on something, and he brings it up again. And I'm like, what's your deal, man? Like, what's the deal with this song? Like, I'm not hung up on it. He's like, yeah, you know, I know you got your Something Wicked song. I'm sorry I didn't want to do it. You know, Lucinda Williams, you know. And I'm just like, oh, God, in my mind, like, when is this going to stop? And he's like, you know, and I know the whole Ray Bradbury thing. And I went, oh, no. I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, no, man. I said, it's Shakespeare. He goes, oh, well, man, I'm a big Shakespeare guy. I'm surprised that I don't know that. It must be from something really obscure. And I said, yeah, it's from a really obscure Shakespeare play called Macbeth. He never mentioned it again. And I put it as a bonus track on my last album. So here's my Something Wicked, my take on that ancient cool phrase. Be careful what you wish for it might come true. What else can a poor soul do? I'm all sixes and sevens. You know what that means? Well, the demon crept into my dreams. Oh, my, help me find my way. Leave behind, oh, yesterday. Smoke clouds on the horizon, and this feeling I'm under. Something wicked this way comes. I miss the morning sunrise. Yes, I tossed and turned that night with nothing but worry and fear and fright. My lonely candle consoling me, heart racing with the guitar strums. When something wicked this way comes, here comes. the pricking of my thumbs. Was something wicked this way comes. I was vindicated. I felt pretty good about it. All right. All right, I got to do something else to pick it up. I've been doing too many down things. Here's another one that's always good at the band shows, but we got to try and do it here. You can't let Chilliwack and Mission put you people down on the sing-alongs, okay? I'm expecting more out of Langley. Ever you been feeding your bad habits and you never can let them go, and you're stuck here chasing your little pink rabbits down their little rabbit holes, and you hear them wolves huffing and a puffing, sniffing out their prey, and you're sure enough tired of all this running and you really gotta get away. Here's what you say, all right? Oh, my, do a little dancing. That's all you gotta learn. Oh, my, do a little dancing. Yeah, not bad, all right. Now, if you're searching for the man with the tattooed head to get your head on right, don't burn a top down on some cellophane, hoping you get real tight, and then say, don't be looking down your nose. I'm doing what I gotta do. I tell you to leave your worries with coat check Jenny. It's surely time you bust your move. Let's do it again. Oh, my, do a little dancing. Yeah, that's right, right in your seats. Oh, my, do a little dancing. Yeah, bumping and this joint is jumping. You know we're letting go and we're feeling free. Don't be one of them wallflowers, Jenny. Come on in and dance with me, 'cause there ain't no problem that we ever see can't be fixed by a slide with Jolie. 2 a.m. don't come too soon. We don't ever want to leave. Last chance. Do a little dancing, yeah. Oh, my, do a little dancing. All right, I want to see if you're really doing it. Oh, my, that's right. Do a little dancing. All you gotta do is, oh, my, do a little dancing. All right, that's the best it's ever been done. And I'm not just saying that because I've got vinyl and T-shirts for sale. That's the best it's ever been done, and I've got vinyl and T-shirts for sale. You can't make that stuff up. So one time, joking about the T-shirts, and I also I'm kind of almost out of T-shirts anyway. I had a good 3-day run, and so I think I have 2 2XLs, 3 large, a medium, a small, and an extra small. So if you're in any of those categories, then you can buy. But here's the deal. So one time I'm playing the Saxon Pub in Austin, Texas, and it's packed, and it's like, man, if it never gets any bigger than this, I'm good. If I can make my living playing music with people that I love, then I'm good. I was like, man, this is just great. And I get done, and 2 things happened that night that were pretty amazing. One is this young guy in his early 20s comes towards the stage, and he's shaking my CD at me. And he's like, hey, man, I loved your set. And I was like, oh, that's really cool, man. Thank you so much. He's like, I bought your CD. I said, oh, that's great. He goes, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I bought it. Felt like a personal victory for me there in that moment. It was pretty cool. But the second thing that happened was I'm trying to put my guitar down. This guy goes, hey, man, you weren't kidding about your T-shirts. He had a little King of the Hill to his voice, like, if you're not from Texas, you don't know everybody on King of the Hill is real. Everybody knows a Peggy, everybody knows a Boomhauer, everybody knows a Dale. And so he said, hey, man, you weren't kidding about your T-shirts. I said, oh, that's nice. Yeah, you like them? He said, no, my wife, man. My wife, she loves her T-shirt, man. She says she sleeps in it every night. Oh, well, that's cool, man. I'm glad she likes it. He goes, she says it's the best sleep she's ever had. I said, okay, all right, man. And he's like, it's like you're in bed with us every night. And I said, why did you have to make it weird? I just looked at him and I said, why did you have to make it weird, man? And you can't make that stuff up because he really did say that. He really did. I don't know. It's a good life. Let me play a couple more on the slide here and switch it up again. My little toy guitar. How about a round again for Ivan Boudreau and Brian there on the steel playing brilliant steel. I don't say that kind of thing with every opener. I just kind of quietly be nice about it. But I'm a fan and a friend of Ivan's songs, and God, he's got such a beautiful voice. Am I right? God, he's got such a gorgeous voice. Yeah, I'm not, he didn't pay me to say this or anything. I just really believe that. So, every place I've ever lived, you guys, I've been landlocked. I've never lived on the water before, and whether it was Steel Town in Ohio. You guys ever see Shawshank Redemption? That's our prison. That's where I grew up, that town. And that was the women's prison. Not kidding. But that town was where I come from. And then I lived in Texas for 20 years, and it's landlocked, about 4 hours to the ocean, maybe 3.5 if you're lucky. Now I live in this little house on top of a hill that belonged to my wife's 98-year-old Scottish grandmother, who, that's right, yeah, and she, Hazel's house, it's totally Hazel's house. Hazel, just for another quick offshoot, she's lived in Canada most of her life, and she has not lost one iota of her accent. She's full Glaswegian all the way, man. I knew when she said, oh, you little toe rag. I never understood that one, like a toe rag is cute. I don't get it, but it's pretty cute. So anyway, we live in this house up on the hill, and we overlook the town. You look over City Hall, and then you see the docks, and you see all the ships going back and forth between, going up to Alaska and back, and then you see sailboats and whales sometimes. I'll be in the living room, and I'll be like, baby whales, come! And we got binoculars ready and stuff. And we see whales, and then behind that you see Quadra Island, and you see a couple other things, and then behind that you see the mainland, and then you see the Pacific Coastal Range, and it's just all as far as you can see. And that's just like morning coffee for me, people. Yeah, that's just like, this wonderful little place that I ended up, and I try really hard not to take it for granted how lucky I am, and just super blessed, and I really love it, but it crept into my writing a lot too. And one time I'm looking out the window, I think it was morning, I was having a cup of coffee, and I was starting to think about this character for a song. It was like somebody who wanted to just kind of hop on a ship and stow away for a little while just to see how far they could get. Not like a runaway kind of thing, more like I just want to see how far I can get and do it on my own little bit, and not get so far away that I can't get back to the people that I love. Not that far, you know? And it was the title track to that album that I did with Colin. There's the humidity coming down from the island really messes with these guitars, you know. When I left, it was a Gibson. Tugboat, fisher boat, sailboat, yacht, freighter, dory, skiff or barge, where are you going? Where have you been? Can I hitch a ride and see my story begin? I really wanna go out on the ocean. I really wanna find a little island. Really wanna fare my days alone, 'cause I'm oh so tired. Sunlight shine on a snow-white sail. Cool breeze of warm winds never fail. When all is said and done, I still should have a little fun. But who will you leave behind you when you run? Oh, I really wanna go out on the ocean. I really wanna find a little island. Really wanna fare my days alone, 'cause I've grown so tired. I really wanna dream the dreams of angels, find something better in the in-between. Really wanna be okay being alone at sea. Tack so hard, there's no time for play. Then we drift so hard, I don't make time to say I love you. At least not the way I should. When will we find out all is already good? I really wanna go out on the ocean. I really wanna find a little island. Really wanna fare my days alone, 'cause I'm oh so tired. I really wanna dream the dreams of angels, find something better in the in-between. Really wanna be okay being alone at sea. Tugboat, fisher boat, sailboat, yacht. Thank you. Before I forget, this is such a great venue and such a great community around here. I think it's really, really important you make sure you're on whatever mailing list is here. I'm in the back room, and I'm looking, and I'm still kind of getting familiar with a lot of artists around here. But I see artists back there on the wall like Tara Lightfoot, and I see artists on the wall like Hawksley Workman, and I see all sort of artists on the wall, and I'm just kind of like, I am now in some very, very good company coming and playing in this place, and it's pretty wonderful what they're doing. And so I want to thank Ross for sure for helping us out here and everything he does, and Sandy who brought the food, and Moby over there on the camera, and Aaron in the back. Thank the volunteers so very, very, very much. Russ, everybody. Daniel for doing the sound. Your sound person is your unsung hero of every show. Yeah. See, here's what happens. You'll be doing, and I don't say this every night because it's not always good every night. But, like a sound person like Daniel who does a really, really spectacular job makes my job a lot easier, It makes it so much easier when I can hear myself and everything's right. And you guys don't know how much of it is the sound person, And what'll happen is he'll be, like, working at, like, a festival or something, and, like, the first band will be, like, 2 ukuleles and a bass. And then the very next band will be like a dead cover band with 2 drummers and 16 pieces. And then some guitar player like me will be looking at him and be like, I don't know, man, it worked last night. You know what I'm talking about. He knows. And they handle it with grace. And they never get their due. And it's not out of the realm of possibilities. If you love a show, you can tip a sound man. You'll make their night. I'm not kidding, you can do it. You can do it, it's a wonderful thing to do, and I love it when it happens. Besides, when you tip, no matter where you're at, I have this friend, Susan Gibson, she says, if the guy you're with doesn't tip, he's not worth going home with. And then she says, you'll find out the hard way. And I was like, okay, I don't know what that means. But when you tip, you actually, it's the act of giving. So it releases oxytocin into the brain. And then you get like this little natural high. So it's really a win-win for everyone when you tip somebody. It's like, that's just science, I mean, you can argue with science if you want. I mean, I am American. I said that better in Chilliwack. It came off, it was really funny when I said in Chilliwack. And I will say that down south, too. Because that's where most of the problem with that is. Sorry. My wife is like, don't say that down there. My God, baby, it's got to be said. A couple more things here. I don't want to keep you forever, but I'm having a lot of fun. So, I don't want to wear out my welcome, but it's kind of fun. Playing in front of an audience. How many people have seen me before? Oh, a few? Okay, thank you. Man, to go to a new place and have a venue support you and get all these new people to come see me, that's a real gift. That's a real gift, I've had to hustle to get fans now that I live here, and it really means a lot. Let's do a couple more here. Let's see. This is a song. He's like, yeah, just a couple. I mentioned my wife. My wife is a horticulturalist, and oh yeah, I'm not supposed to say she's an arborist because she's not an arborist anymore, but she was, which is still pretty cool. And she's a gardener, and she just has this love of nature, and it's been a really good influence on me. So imagine I'm in the Texas Hill Country, which is kind of beautiful certain times of the year, and I had just recorded this instrumental for my album. And I was like, I'd put an instrumental on an album before, and I was like, oh, this would be cool. I'll put it in between some songs. I'm driving through the Texas Hill Country. I'm listening to the rough mix of it, and I'm like, I'm going to call this Heaven on Earth. I was like, I'd never heard of an instrumental called Heaven on Earth. It reminded me of some old steel gospel tunes that I knew from the sacred steel tradition. And I get home, and I'm playing it for my wife in the kitchen and the dining room kind of set. And we're sitting there, and she goes, Heaven on Earth, huh? And I said, yeah. And she's like, She said, honey, what are your 5 favorite things in nature? I was like, nobody's ever asked me a question like that before. That's a kind of an odd question. So I thought about it for a second, and I said, like a dude. I was like, I don't know, I like mountains. She said, yeah, right? And so I was like, okay, well, she's not impressed. So I thought about it some more, and I was like, I was 27 the first time I ever dipped my foot in the ocean. I'd been to both coasts a million times. I'd played all across the U.S., but I had never put my foot in the ocean until I was 27. I said, the ocean's very humbling to me, and she's like, I was like, okay, well, honey, what are your 5 favorite things in nature? And I kid you not, the first thing that comes out of her mouth without thinking, she goes, you know that thing when you're standing in like low water on like pebbles and the sound that the water makes when it goes through like the little rocks in your toes? And I looked at her and I was like, what else? And I swear, she's not a writer, she's not a poet, she's not whatever. Her art is that stuff. And she goes, without even thinking, she goes, when you're on like a giant snow-covered field and it's just silent? And I was taken right there, and I remembered from my youth what it was like to be on a giant snow-covered field, because we didn't have those in Texas and where I lived, and I was just amazed. So I just had her just start telling me all this stuff. I started writing it down, and on the back porch, she had a gardening hat that a bird was nesting in. And I was like, oh, you're going to, move that? And she's like, oh, no, not until they have the babies. And I was like, okay, so we kept it there. And so I just went in the next day, and over top of the instrumental, I just put all these things that my wife had told me and turned it into a song. It's called Heaven on Earth. There's a bird nesting quietly on the back porch. Her song is not of rebirth. She sings soft and serene to her young ones. And she teaches heaven on earth. Sweet smell of harvest leaves, red foxes playful mirth, magnolia buds in the springtime, all can be heaven on earth. Winter fields, snowy silence, the warmth of the evening summer wind, the sound of the waves through pebbles at your feet, the choice to love this world we're living in. Take a walk with your love through the woodlands. You will see what this life is truly worth. There's no need to wait for untold futures known. When today you can have heaven on earth, if only for a moment. Heaven on earth. Thank you. All right, all right. Let's get to it. People ask me if I gave my wife a co-write on that song, and I'll tell you what she said. She said, "Oh, I'm going to get all the money anyway." I know my stories are long, and I apologize, but can I tell you one more quick little thing? One more quick little thing about my wife? Because we've got some family here, right? Is June over there? Okay, good. I'm glad. Thanks for being here. So I've been indoctrinated into what is my wife calls Canadian humor. And I love it. And I didn't really know. I mean, you know, we got a lot of comics down south Canada. Oh, the late, great Catherine O'Hara. Oh, oh man, so brilliant. But there's tons and tons and tons and tons of them, you know. But this isn't anything like that. This is just my wife's sense of humor that I love. So it's early on in the lockdowns. You guys tell me whether or not you think this is Canadian humor, okay? Because I'm the American who's lucky enough to live here. And I'd like to know what you think about it. So we're in the grocery store. It's kind of early on in the lockdowns. You know, we all got the QR codes. And we're in the lockdowns. Everybody's separated. My wife's kind of down. She's kind of feeling sad. And I'm a fixer. I'm a guy who always wants to fix things, which is great in a relationship. The women always laugh the hardest at that joke. The men are a little confused. So I'm always trying to fix things. So I see that my wife's a little bit down, and I'm trying to make her laugh. I can make her laugh sometimes. She laughs sometimes. So I'm kind of dancing around being silly and trying to make her giggle or something in the grocery store. You know, I'm behind the cart dancing around being kind of silly, kind of making her laugh like I can sometimes. And she turns and she looks at me and she goes, "Been a while since anybody's clapped for you, huh?" That's funny. That's really good. I don't know if that's Canadian humor, but it's awesome. I deserved that. All right, let's do one more song. I feel like we're getting to the point where I fulfilled my contractual obligations for the evening. And we'll do one more. And I wrote this song. This is another one off the album that's not out yet, but I love playing it. I think it's a good time to play it. I think that if you work hard and you, let's say you invent something, or you're a really, really good musician or artist or poet or a basketball player, you should make a lot of money, and that's wonderful. It was never a big thing for me to make a lot of money. Maybe that's why I didn't. I think you should do that, and I think you should make money. I got no problem with that. But I think that a billionaire thing has gotten just a little bit out of control. It's gotten a little bit, you know, like, hey, like I don't want to tell anybody you can't make money, but I believe there's a little bit of a price for living in a nation like the U.S. that affords you the ability to do those things, you know, just sort of like, you know. So you got to just like help out a little bit, you know, and like look out for your fellow person a little bit. That's just my take on things. And so I think it's good. And I'm reminded of this really great story. And it's Kurt Vonnegut and the writers, Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller. They go to a billionaire party in the 70s. And Kurt Vonnegut was known for being kind of crotchety, a little bit cranky. And he used to always tell this story after Joseph Heller passed, because he loved this story too. So they go to this party, and Joseph Heller walks in. He sees Kurt. He goes, "Man," Kurt Vonnegut says, "Man, you know, we write these bestsellers. We get our pictures on magazines. We'll never see money like this. And Joseph Heller goes, oh, yeah, I've got something that guy will never have. And Kurt says, oh, yeah, what's that? And he goes, I have enough. And I was just like, yeah, you know, like you got to think about that sometimes, you know. I think it's a good thing to kind of keep in the back of your mind sometimes. I fall prey to it too, I promise, you know. And like the last verse in this song may or may not be about me, you know. And this has a nice little crowd participation one more time in it, you know. And we'll end with this and on a good note. We're going to send this one out to Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. We are born into this world with a mighty clean slate. See, we got all good intentions pointed narrow and straight. Oh, and then the devil comes a knocking, and he's all mean and gruff, telling all God's children, you'll never get enough, and that ain't right. He's telling all God's children, you'll never get enough. Now, sweet success may come with the bitter taste. Oh, then you'll hit those skids in the fat cat race. But you can't take it with you, and you're flying off the cuff. Won all the money in Shreveport, but you never get enough. Yeah, you won all the money in Shreveport, but you'll never get enough. All right, do it with me. Oh, you'll never get enough. That's the whole thing. Oh, you'll never get enough. That's right, that's all it is. You're spoiling for a fight. Got a helping of your own from your lady last night. Well, she puts you in your place when you act so tough. But sure as you born, you'll never get enough. I said as sure as you born, brother, you'll never get enough. One more story. I thought I was on cloud nine. I fell from the roof. They locked me up with no burden of proof. Well, I was 3 sheets to the wind when you call my bluff. Well, to tell the truth now, I'll never get enough. Yeah, I hope I do, but I tell the truth to you people, I'll never get enough. Last chance, here we go. Oh, you'll never get enough. Come on, let's do it. Oh, you'll never get enough. Maybe someday. so much, everybody. It's been my sincere pleasure to play for you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Come see me. I got my Sharpie. I'll hang out right over there and play for you. Thank you, guys. It's really, really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. I guess so. No, that's not mine.